Yes, I know all of you can, but the goal of this video is to see whether I can beat Dark Souls 3 at Soul Level 1. Let's cut to the title music. I made my guy, Kevin. He's just a guy. He works at a business, he enjoys television programs. He's Kevin. Look at him. After picking up a flask of electric lemonade, I immediately got into a grudge match with this first crystal lizard. It took a few rounds of Kevin clocking in at the old office and listening to gossip around the watering hole before he heard through the grapevine that you can just hammer the lizard 4 times to stagger him and then do a big counterattack. 3 sets of that and I've got some useless crystal meat, but importantly, I've got an inflated ego. Kevin's not exactly a master of parkour. He's just, a guy. He watched a couple parkour videos on YouTube in 2012 when they were popular and kinda vaguely remembers them. After he remembered how to jump, Kevin headed on to Gundyr from HR. Kevin learned in an all-hands synergy-oriented Zoom meeting that the best offense is a good offense. So even though he took an early hit when he rolled too early on Gundyr's delayed attack, by just hammering away at the boss, we were able to take him down first try. I have to say, I did not remember how many things in this game were so easily staggered. Kevin went on a bit of a spree through the Firelink Shrine. This is his first vacation in years, and he's thrilled to be able to let loose, swing a club, and get back to his primal roots. He's on island time now, and no, he will not be putting on clothes for the entirety of this vacation. We went and talked to the travel guide. Level up? Sounds like some corporate BS. No, thank you. We're au naturel in these parts. You know when you see someone do a cool jump and you try it over and over until you can do it too? Anyway, Kevin got a flask shard and a bit of bling. To search for precious metals is one of the most human things one can do. Kevin is not so at peace with himself so as to be able to withstand the draw of the Silver Serpent. Maybe someday, but not today. Kevin hitched a ride on the first tourist cruise available and immediately got mauled by the local stray dog population. Not letting that get him down, he continued on to get mauled by some horrific black goo snake monster man thing. Typical first day of vacation, am I right or am I right? After a few run-ins with the local ruffians, Kevin made it to the second bonfire. Let's just say he had one too many pina coladas. After a lot of confusion, like Jackie Chan in The Legend of the Drunken Master, Kevin achieved a flow state and collected the raw gem, the broadsword, and another flask shard. Kevin likes flasks. Now that his new weapon is raw, like his sushi, and +1, like his wedding invitations, it's time for Kevin to take on Vort from Accounts Payable. Vort talks a big game, really likes to throw his weight around and try to big dog everyone, but Kevin knows how to take it slow and roll around in the mud to knock out this boss without taking a single point of damage. Now, what's vacation all about? That's right, family. And family means no one gets left behind or forgotten. So I ran back through all my greatest fears, taking out this Lothric Spear Knight along the way, picked up the cell key, and freed Greyrat. Kevin even got a useless ring for all his hard work. I talked to Emma to get the quilt she was working on embroidering, decided to let her live for now, and took the ski lift to the undead settlement. Alright fellas, who let the dogs out? I gave a local kid a piggyback ride, found the charred remains of Greyrat's friend, sorry buddy, and took out these nice cultists one by one to grab the flask shard. I got myself blown up a few times, grabbed a secret tool for later, took out a giant rat for the priceless ring that I guess he had lodged in his putrid rotting stomach, and decided to take on the Greatwood from the office supplies team even though it's not required. But first, I watched this guy do this. I ran through the fields aided by my future giant archer friend. Took out all the tree worshippers, hit all his pus sacks, ran out of sacks to hit so I was circling him thinking of what to do, only to remember a second too late that you can also damage him by hitting his weird crotch hand. Anyway, on the next try, I successfully popped his zits and acquired the transposing kiln. Maybe I'll make use of it at some point, who knows? Foreshadowing doesn't exist when you're on vacation. You gotta live in the here and now. I immediately got clobbered by these locals aggressively pushing their porcelain wares on me, so I had to tell them I'm not interested. After I effortlessly opened this door, I boldly retreated to the corner just in time for my good friend the Onion Knight to come back me up. Hey, that's right, walk away slowly. Oh, you want some more? Yeah, you better run. Fella? I made the office gym face to the camera for about 5 minutes, then finally put this guy out of his recursive misery and talked to my buddy. I'm not sure what you're on about, Sigurd. Definitely seems like this lift goes up. Well, if that isn't just the most amicable giant I've ever met. Sometimes all you have to do is ask. Siggy and I teamed up to form an unbeatable supergroup a la Simon and Garfunkel and took out this fire demon. I made like an alien visiting Earth for the first time to study humanity and learn 2 basic gestures from him, and I fought through sentient caged bones to grab Flynn's ring, increasing my damage by around 15%, and the Chloranthy ring for stamina regen. They may not be as good in this game as they were in Dark Souls 2, but I'll need all the help I can get. I had a very even battle with this Frost Warrior of Irithyll, through which we both gained respect for the other, and finally I lit the next bonfire. Kevin picked up the Brigand Axe, then was so stunned to see a beautiful woman he had to take a quick nip to calm his nerves and gain some liquid courage, leaving an opening to let the butcher dice him up into mincemeat. So of course he had to get revenge. I fought through what must have been at least several whole clans of Corvidae, and now just what Kevin wanted to see on his week off. Interminable, unnavigable swampland. But first, a quick check-in with my 2 favorite questers. They really seem to have their heads on straight. I'm sure they'll go far in this world. Kevin fought through the enticingly named Crucifixion Woods for a bunch more Titanite shards and a flask shard, and thinking he certainly must have taken a wrong turn somewhere, upgraded his broadsword to +2. Now, he may be a bit of a dildo, but no one gets left behind means no one gets left behind, so I went and picked up Orbeck. Given how Kevin has literally never seen magic before, you can forgive him for being a bit confused by the Crystal Sage, the CEO's personal spiritual guru. After a few calls, however, he was able to see through the Vizier's virulent visage and topple his fragile empire. Feeling like hunting the local fauna, Kevin took out a few crystal lizards and harvested their twinkling titanite that he will never use, disrupting the ecosystem permanently and ensuring drought and devastation down the line. Of course, Kevin didn't think about that. Kevin doesn't think about anything. Kevin's on island time, baby. And you better believe he's getting mauled by dogs and crossbowmen and barely escaping with his life. Ooh, look, another flask shard. And boy, could Kevin use a drink. With another titanite shard, he can bring up his broadsword to +3. And I figure we might as well infuse our Brigand Axe with fire. I don't remember which bosses, if any, are weak to fire, but I'm assuming I'll figure it out as we go. Kevin fought a horrific dog made of leeches, grabbed some more purple bling, and brought his fire axe up to +1. A few undead men with leech dogs growing out of their stomachs later, and we find the first undead bone shard, letting us finally brew a stronger drink. Anyone up for a hurricane? It took a lot of getting ganked on these rooftops with horrible, annoying children swinging axes all over the place, but eventually Kevin opened up the side of the cathedral and unlocked the shortcut. Then immediately got clobbered by a poor, enslaved giant. Wait, we're alive! Oh, dang. Once we learned how to evade him, we picked up Lloyd's sword ring, increasing our damage as long as we're at max health, which, is hopefully always. Kevin did not fall for this fake chest trick, but it still got him anyway. Whoops. One gross chest tongue destroyed, and we opened the third shortcut. Kevin grabbed the deep ring just for swag, painstakingly trudged around this muddy giant and his gelatinous friends. I have to imagine everyone in this church would be a lot happier if they just brought in a power washer and deep cleaned the floor. Even a Swiffer would help at this point. And I opened the front entrance of the cathedral. Ooh, a Knight of Katarina. Surely we can trust him. This bald imposter has made an enemy for life. So Kevin ran away from the giant again, snuck past these zealots, don't mind me, keep on with your chanting and whatnot, and went straight to the deacons of IT. 20 against 1. Good thing Kevin brought his butt-kicking loincloth. He never was one for organized religion. Before heading into the catacombs, Kevin had to tie up some loose ends. Some bald ends. He scaled his way up to the rafters, grabbed the blessed gem, juked this guy, then broke his ankles, and we could just buy Siggy his armor back, or... Whoops. That's better. Remember, kids, crime doesn't pay. There you go, big guy. Don't mention it. Ohana means family, after all. Now into the swamp. Of course, you know Kevin wants to destroy the endangered megafauna. Ooh, look, another ring. Kevin trudged through the swamp and found the Farron Coal, sneaking past this guy on the way out. How long did he survive for? Let's not get bogged down by the details. Wow, nature really is beautiful. And turns out this ladder trick really works. Good thing I got that poison bite ring, eh? Man, that ticks up fast. One flame down without any real resistance, and Kevin just straight up started wandering around. Ooh, another flask shard. Everything's coming up, Kevin. And there go flames numbers 2 and 3. Before leaving the swamp, Kevin grabbed another undead bone shard and headed up to the tower. He did a dive roll headfirst into a brick wall to get the Dream Chaser's ashes, and now both our weapons are +3. I still like the faster attack speed of the broadsword, but I'm sure the fire axe will be useful at some point, right? I obviously wouldn't just infuse it and upgrade it for no reason. Kevin had a Dark Souls 1 boss rematch, took out a bunch more endangered lizards, and it's time for the Watchers of the Quality Control Department. But first, let's take out another harmless sleeping lizard for no particular reason, because we'll never ever be able to use a Titanite scale. Oh boy. As an office worker at Business Inc., Kevin is used to delegating. He feels no qualms about letting the third quality control officer deal with the second while he takes out the first. Now, for the second phase, nothing to do but get good. Kevin ran through the swamp just a bit more for the sage's coal, and now we have a blessed cestus for some holy parries. Oh, and Cornix is part of the family too. With just one more person to free before delving underground, Kevin ran through the graveyard aided by his giant archer friend to grab the mortician's ashes, bought the auspiciously named grave key, dipped back into the sewers nude yet again, somehow avoided contracting hepatitis. Wait, if that's a loincloth, what am I wearing now? Huh, killing patches doesn't count as a sin. I am perfect and everything I do is good and righteous. And after taking your average New York subway ride, Kevin freed Irina. Is this love? Wait, this is crazy talk. He's only here for a week, then he has to get back to work managing liaisons and liaising with managers. Still though, it's nice to dream. Now time to spelunk. Kevin took the shortcut down to skip the first part of the catacombs and immediately got parried. Let's see if we can't just avoid all these skeletons. Well, so far so good. A quick stop to grab the pasteurized milk ring, and Kevin made it to the next bonfire. See ya, nerd. Kevin can tell when he's not welcome somewhere. He calls it his sixth sense. When skeletons with glowing red eyes start slashing, he gets to dashing. So he sprinted through the rest of the catacombs, knocked this crystal lizard off into the void, took out his anger on this poor skeleton who was just minding his own business and enjoying the view, and cut down the bridge behind him lest any bony man try to follow. Before he leaves, though, of course, Kevin has to grab a souvenir. I mean, come on. When's the next time he's gonna be in a haunted catacombs? And you know this skull chalice would kill at the office Halloween party. Okay, how was he supposed to know it was haunted? There were literally no signs other than, everything about it. Other than getting caught in the LA smog once, Wolnir is a cakewalk, and Kevin's ready to cross over the bridge to the big city. Look at that view. Irithyll, the big raspberry. He played do-si-do with a very nice dog, earning him yet another ring, fought some very long-legged frost warriors, and just sort of schmoopsed his way around this fountain to prevent that guy from seeing him. Eventually, he reached the next bonfire and the third undead bone shard. Kevin got hunted by these floating ghost head guys. Clever girl. Rolled through more waist-high water to fight some truly delectable swamp skeleton spider dogs with hair, and made it to the distant manor. This dungeon is not quite up to Kevin's standards. He'd really like to go back to the pretty ice city, actually, but he's not a quitter. He fought through these horrible, horrible jailers that sapped his life force, these monstrous baby worm wall crawler abominations, and some incredibly annoying crossbowmen. But hey, he got another flask shard from a tongued chest. And while he wasn't tricked by the next mimic, he was tricked by the ganking basilisks. If it's not one thing, it's my mother, am I right? Kevin painstakingly took out like 100 jailers one by one, rolled right past this gargoyle, and made it to the profaned capital and another undead bone shard. Kevin broke a priceless antique gargoyle statue, did not fall for these trap holes, successfully used a jump attack for the first time ever, took out this monstrous baby ogre with a hand for a head, disabled this trapped chest, and had an epic Tom Cruise-style rooftop fight with this guy bearing the Olympic torch. Jumped through this window and found... this empty cell. Let me get back to you. Kevin warped back to the distant manor, fought through the sewer, grabbed the excrement-covered ashes just for shits and giggles, and there you are. Your cell is already unlocked and ready for you, buddy. So I guess whoever jailed you just forgot to close the door again, and you never noticed? No, far be it from me to judge. I dropped down to the giant's feet for a couple more large titanite shards, upgraded my broadsword to +6, snuck past 2 more gargoyles, and... Is it against the rules to have Sigward help with Yorm? I didn't summon him. I'm just going through the story and he decided to help of his own accord. What am I supposed to do, leave him behind? When I've explicitly told you that family means no one gets left behind or forgotten? You're being ridiculous. Back at the distant manor, Kevin took out a few silver knights, grabbed some Dark Souls 1 commemorative merchandise, got mauled by dogs approximately, and I'm just estimating here, 8 trillion times. And as for the executive VP of marketing Sullivan, it's time to put that cestus to work. A quick parry to start it off, followed by 2 strikes as he's standing up, and the first quarter of his health is already gone. Another immediate parry brings him down to half health, and as he takes his time to summon his clone, Kevin just wails on the pontiff, bringing him so close to death that all he needs to do is dodge a double attack and get one more hit off to seal the deal. Kevin looped around to the top of the church to disable this chest, took out all the deacons, had the high ground and destroyed this twin spear schmuck, and got hammered. He dropped off the wall for the Easterner's ashes, parried this silver knight just to prove a point, and the point was not well taken. Let's try that again. Just run away before he can get up, and there we go. Everything according to plan. Just had to dodge a couple more knights and he made it to the shining city on a hill, Baltimore, Maryland. Kevin paid his respects to the goats who came before him, opened the gate because he's basically guaranteed to die at least a few times, and just cue the death montage. COO Aldrich's first phase is easy with slow, spread out attacks, but in his second phase, if he goes for the raining arrows attack, it's almost impossible to dodge both the arrows and the fire given how low my health and stamina are, not to mention that I keep getting caught on weird rubble collision. So how did I beat him? Eventually, I got a pattern where he just didn't do the arrow rain in his second phase, and I was able to dodge his soul spear, fire lashes, and everything else and take him down. And now R&D Chief Dancer. The first phase is alright when you know all her moves, but the second phase is unrelenting. Maybe all I need is to upgrade my weapon one more time. Turns out I can trade a black firebomb with Pump-a-Rump and get a Titanite chunk, then drop down the rope ladder I broke in the catacombs earlier, take out this demon fire sage, avoid the giant ballista in the smoldering lake, and exterminate another lizard for a second chunk, getting my broadsword up to +7. And just like that, 187 damage per hit becomes 202. Now it should be a cakewalk. It took quite a few tries, but I did it. I can get hits in one at a time while she's just stalking around, careful always to be ready to dodge whatever attack she goes for. After 10 hits, she staggers, so I get into full combo while she goes into phase 2. I avoid her long spinning attack, then start using the broadsword's weapon art to do attacks with a bit more damage. The easiest move to avoid in phase 2 is when she stabs the ground and does an AoE attack, because she has a long recovery window after it, during which I can dodge roll in and hit her twice. I got lucky this run and she did that move twice, giving me just enough time to finally finish her off after more than an hour of attempts. Kevin did a few one-way runs to the consumed king's garden for some titanite chunks and another Estus flask, letting him get the broadsword up to +8. Osiris, the retired founder, is pretty aggressive, and the only way to meet that kind of energy is to match it. If you try to stay right up in his crotch, you have time to react to all his attacks and can slowly get in attacks one at a time. It's frustrating because basically every single attack takes Kevin out in one hit, and his second phase just has unrelenting attack after attack, but it only took about 30 minutes of tries to dethrone this ailing dragon. Kevin continued on past this useless statue of a man doing the dragon pose, nothing important about that, and dropped down to the untended graves. Gundyr from legal? Let's just count the perfect parries together, shall we? 1, 2, 3 sends him into his second phase. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 perfect parries, and all Kevin's claims have been settled. Kevin continued on, got diced up, got revenge by way of a couple parries, and explored the eerie dark firelink, rolling through a fake wall and picking up the Firekeeper's eyes. This vacation has really gone off the rails, folks. He didn't want to have to hold on to those gooey, fleshy orbs for any longer than he had to. Here, you take them. Yeah, sure, let's get rid of fire. It's getting too hot anyway. Now, eagle-eyed gamers among the audience will notice that Kevin has taken out 3 optional bosses despite his typical aversion to doing anything not explicitly required of him. Of course, like any self-respecting tourist, Kevin had a detailed travel plan. He gave the transposing kiln he got from the Greatwood to Ludwig Ogren, and used the Soul of Legal to get the prisoner's chain, giving him, wow, that's actually a lot more health and stamina. Let's hope it was all worth it. And speaking of the audience, if you've made it this far, consider subscribing. I'm on the road to the illustrious 1 subscriber, a never-before-reached number that could really change the world, I believe. Kevin beat up this bear, grabbed some more titanite chunks. Hey, why is this bonfire called the Dragon Barracks? Huh, that's why. Kevin jumped off a bridge because all his friends did first, and he got an undead bone shard and enough chunks to max out his weapon. What do we learn from this, kids? If all your friends jump off a bridge, you should too. In fact, you should jump off every bridge you see, just in case you might find something good. Could this be a safe zone? Let's see. Nope. No, it could not be. What's the weather in this room? Cloudy with a chance of firebombs. He finally made it through and opened the gate. Apparently, opening the gate kills the dragons out front. Did anyone else not know that? Kevin took his time with the armor from accounts receivable. All the attacks are pretty slow except for the shield bash, and as long as Kevin doesn't get greedy with his attacks, he can slowly whittle him down. It takes 7 hits to stagger him, then Kevin can get 2 hits in while he regains his balance and the cycle restarts. A little more than 2 staggers and Kevin is victorious. Sometimes a picture really is worth 1,000 words. I love that we all know exactly what happened with these bloodstains without even having to activate them. So here's the deal. I did all of the archives before I realized I completely forgot to start recording. Luckily, I realized my mistake before I went to take on the Twin Princes. What follows is an artist's recreation that mimics what we think Kevin's journeys through the archive might have looked like. Imagine there's a sage here. Ooh, Kevin's really giving it to him. Go, Kevin, go! Kevin's always hated libraries. He prefers to learn through the School of Hard Knocks. As a result, these scholars and candlesticks took him out of his comfort zone, but eventually, he took out the sage's little brother and continued on. You know what? After careful consideration, Kevin realized he actually finds books quite gripping. Kevin parkoured around on the rooftops and dodged all the gargoyles, netting him another undead bone shard. I have always hated fighting this trio. I wonder if you can just run past them. Turns out that's way easier than I'd expected. Now onto the syphilitic boy princes. Lothric and Lorien, the CFO and CTO, are surprisingly easy if you only do 1 attack at a time and have a little bit of patience. Luckily, over the course of this vacation, Kevin has mastered the art of patience. When it's just the CTO, all Kevin has to do is dodge his relatively slow attacks, stay up on top of him so he doesn't use his more annoying ranged attacks and dashes, and whittle him down. Once his scheming vizier brother reanimates him like Frankenstein, in this case Lothric is Frankenstein, the doctor, but also then that means Lorien would also be Frankenstein because they're brothers and they would have the same last name, Kevin uses the architecture to his advantage, hiding behind pillars until the CFO's rays of light are done. Then the second phase is much the same as the first. Dodge, 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 get an attack in, always trying to stay behind the duo so you can hit the guy piggybacking. Lorien goes down when Lothric has about half health, giving Kevin ample time to lay into the CFO, almost taking him out. He only has to dodge a few more attacks, again using the pillars to give himself space to chug his drink, and the princes fall like so many corrupt monarchs have before them. Before he gets on the flight home, though, Kevin had one more thing left to do. When I said nobody gets left behind, I meant nobody. And no, I didn't just forget her until now. Stop insinuating that I forgot her until the very end. Kevin went back to the Irithyll dungeon, snuck past these jailers, opened Carla's cell, and... whoops. He snuck past these jailers and invited Carla back to Firelink Shrine, finally bringing the whole family together. All that's left now is to place the souvenirs Kevin got from taking out all of his company's executives, travel to an idyllic cliffside, and challenge the CEO. He has 32 embers. Surely that's more than enough. The Soul of Cinder is definitely one of the hardest bosses of the whole trilogy, excluding the DLC, obviously. The straight sword phase is alright. There are a ton of different attacks, but the only real trip up is that sometimes he does two very fast swings in a combo, and sometimes he does one swing followed by a huge delay, and it can be really hard to react quickly enough and tell which pattern he's doing. After that, the weapons I want to see him change into next, in order of least annoying to most annoying, are Staff, Spear, Curved Sword. The Staff is incredibly easy to punish. The only annoying thing is the homing crystal soul mass, but as long as you keep circling him, they mostly won't hit you, and when you stagger him, they go away. He casts so slowly that this is the only time in the whole fight you can get 2 hits in at a time, and the Double Blast, Soul Spear, Soul Greatsword, and Omega Laser attacks are easy to dodge and punish. The Spear isn't too bad as long as you stay close, but if you let him get any distance at all, he'll somehow track you perfectly and hit you with insane ranged attacks, with hitboxes that linger. And if he goes Curved Sword, well, Kevin would just run away and wait till he swapped to a different weapon. In the second phase, again, most of his attacks are easy to dodge, but you need to get your attack in immediately. If your roll leaves you too far away and you try to step into him and then attack so you don't miss, you're already too late and he'll punish you. The lightning spear attacks are the easiest to roll through and punish, and most of his combos and jumps are predictable. The kicks are annoying but don't do much damage, luckily. Sometimes his grab would just randomly get me even when I was rolling and nowhere near him, but for the most part that's easy to dodge too. The final fight was far from perfect. I took a couple early hits before I could get into the rhythm. Luckily he went to the staff pretty quickly so I could lay on the punishment. When he went Curved Sword, as is tradition, I just ran. Eventually he buffed himself with Power Within and then switched to the Spear. I stayed up close and personal, staggered him, and took out his first health bar. Then we get to phase 2. He powered up, and so did I. I stay far away so he starts with a jump attack I can punish, then he does a 5-hit combo I just stay out of range of. I dodge his combos, roll through his lightning, and avoid his grab. He sends lightning up into the sky, I wait a couple seconds, dodge it, then dodge his incoming attack. When he still had a third of his health left, I had taken so many hits I was out of Estus. Thanks to the Prisoner's Chain and my Ember, I can survive one attack, but after I got hit by an attack I thought I was out of range for, it became kill or be killed. And finally, after a couple painstaking hours of practicing and practicing, Kevin committed a corporate ouster and took Lothric under new management. I think we'll call it Kevin Land now. Oh, also, once the Soul of Cinder was down, he took out his Fire Brigand axe and just wailed on the corpse. That's right, I told you I didn't get that axe for nothing. And of course, we brought the family together for a reason. Let's put out that fire and I'll take a nice nap. That sounds great, doesn't it? In the end, the answer to the question is yes, I can beat Dark Souls 3 at Soul Level 1. I hope you enjoyed this video. I've played Dark Souls 3 the least of the trilogy, so I was afraid it would take me a while to get back into it, but the fluid combat system lent itself to relatively easy bosses by comparison. If you made it this far, thanks for watching, and remember, it's dangerous out there. Let's stick together.